You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
You can find us online by visiting clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right, and you guys can help us keep the conversation moving forward by supporting the show. You can share it online with your friends and family. Leave us a good 5-star review on Apple iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. We're going to leave a couple of links right there in the description box, so you can do just that.
The verse of the day today is coming to you from Job chapter 5, verse 17. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Therefore, do not despise the chastening of the Almighty.
Bro, nobody likes to be corrected. Nobody likes it.
No, it's not fun. It's never fun.
You got a lot of pride wrapped up in it, men and women. I was going to say men, but I think women too.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very humbling experience, especially when it's done by another human being. You know, it's one thing when God corrects you, but how does God correct you? You know, he doesn't come down from the heavens with a wagging finger. He puts godly people in your life. He brings the Holy Spirit's conviction into you, but nobody really likes it. You know what I mean? And it's one of the things that it's a sign of maturity when you can take correction and come out the other side thankful for it.
Yeah, and not everybody who speaks into your life is always going to be seeking to correct you and have your best interests at heart. So know the source that it's coming from. But if it's a trusted source, if it's a trusted believer, a brother or sister in Christ, listen to and receive that correction, and really take a moment to examine yourself, because, like John, just like you said, that's how God speaks to us, is through the godly people that are in our lives.
That's right.
So listen, accept it in humility, and allow that to shape you into the man or woman that God's creating you to be.
Dr. Shah said this to me one time. I think he got it from John Maxwell, but I might be misquoting that. But he said, you're going to have two people in your lives who speak correction to you. Some of them are going to be your coach. Some of them are going to be your critics. Yeah. And you don't listen to your critics. You know, you don't let your critic. You might learn from them, but you don't let them dictate how you live your life. You leave that for your coaches. So take inventory of the people in your life who you know are constantly speaking wisdom or instruction into you. Are they your coach? Do you really feel like they have your best interest at heart, or do they just want to pick out those things wrong? And then you'll know. Yeah. And this episode, as always, is brought to you in part by the Date the Word app. You can download it for free right now on your iPhone or Android device. Every single day connects today's date with God's Word for the hope of making it more memorable for you.
You good?
I'm good, man. It's just been a long, long week. New building is coming along. The album is wrapping up production. Just lots of things.
Things are rolling. Lots of irons in the fire, but they're all kind of moving forward.
But I did have some good news. Okay. Someone sent us $1 million cash.
And I love that.
It was in the mailbox.
Fantastic.
The FBI shut the whole street down, but after it was all cleared, but here it was all good. It's ours to keep.
Great.
Here's the only bugaboo. Oh. It's going to you. $1 million to you.
I love that.
Your phone and your laptop.
Sure.
Any device that you have that you have to charge.
I have two right here.
So yeah, your phone.
3. I mean, I charge. Whoops.
Yeah.
And I charge my Apple Watch.
So your Apple Watch, your phone, your laptop, your iPad, anything in your life that requires a charge, it will never get above 10%. Ever again.
Ew.
Yeah, you'll always be at 10% or less. You could leave it on the charger till kingdom come. It will not charge above 10%.
Ew, I hate that.
Yeah.
I'd probably take that, though.
Terrible feeling. Are you serious?
Yeah,
really?
I'd probably take that. Yeah, just keep a power bank with you.
Oh, man.
I hate that. I really, because the power bank itself would only get to 10%.
Yeah, you can leave it, charge it up for
yeah.
Wait, do you charge the power? Yeah, you charge the power bank. Yeah, that's got 10% battery.
I'd probably
You better be near an outlet at all times.
I'd probably take that. I have a phone charger in my car that you can like sit the phone in and it'll charge like while you're driving.
Yeah, just be 10%. Like it'll charge fine. The phone's not broken. It just
only charges to 10%.
It'll get to 10 and then it'll hold. Like if you leave it plugged up, it'll just stay at 10. But it will never. It'll never see 11% again.
I'd probably take that.
You'll take it?
It would be a headache, but I would take it.
I think I would take it too. But man, what a nuisance. So yesterday, it's actually kind of funny because yesterday, this was born out of a situation that I had yesterday where I forgot to charge my phone. So woke up in the morning and it was on like 15%. And I was like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
So then I come to work and I was like, all right, where's my phone charger? I was like, oh, I took my phone charger home because nobody was using it at the office. For goodness sake. So now I got to play the beggar walking around, hey, Melissa, can I please borrow your phone charger? They're like, well, why do you need my phone charger? I'm like, why do you think I'm gonna bake a cake with it. I'm gonna put it in some cake batter and have phone charger for dessert. I need to
charge my phone, obviously.
What do you need with it? So I was like, okay, she has something I need, so I'm not gonna lash out. I was like, I'd like to charge my phone, please. She's gonna hand it to me. Make sure I get it back. I said, you know what? I'm seething with anger, but I need to charge this phone. And then you sit down to I sit down to charge my phone. Everybody's like, hey, can you come help me in the office? Bring your phone. Yeah, sure. So like, there's just no point in the day to sit down because you got new building stuff and you got album production. You got all these different things that you guys are doing as well. So it's like my phone it never saw above 10% yesterday.
You need to get an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Because you can text and you can like accept phone calls from not a huge distance, but from a distance. So like if you have your phone charging in
I've never
the
been
office
a watch
and you go to the
guy,
cafe, I'm telling you, it's great. Nick has one. Nick knows what I'm talking about.
You got the Apple Watch? You like it? You like the Apple Watch?
David's got one.
And Dr. Shah, everyone has an Apple Watch except for me.
Yeah.
This is how Apple works.
Yep.
And it's crazy that I'm going to go out and buy one.
You got to do it.
But I'm going to do it because everybody has one except for me.
But under this agreement, it will not get above 10%.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'll be a millionaire. Write in and let us know if you would do that. I guarantee you there's some people out there who was like, I'll chuck that phone in Car Lake. I'll chuck that. I won't even use a phone no more. I don't even care. Yep. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Let us know if you would take that deal. 252-582-5028. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's going on, listeners? My name is John.
And I'm Ellie.
And we just want to take a second and let you know about Dr. Shah's new book on the market right now called Can We Recover the Original Text of the New Testament? Boy, that is a long title.
True, but it's a very simple message. The original text of the New Testament is not only attainable, but there are lots of different ways that scholars go about discovering it.
There's a lot of people out there saying that the original text is lost forever, or that it's hopeless to actually try to find it, or that there's many texts of the New Testament. But alongside Dr. David Allen Black, Dr. Shah has actually compiled papers from some of the world's leading experts in textual criticism, including one written by himself on various methodologies for extracting the original text. And listen, if you're interested in textual criticism, this book is a great introduction to the field.
You can pick up your copy on Amazon, or you can buy it from our church website. That's clearviewbc.org. We're going to leave a link in the description box so you can get your copy today.
Love that. Ellie, let's hop back in.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
That's right. We are here in the Clearview Today studio with Dr. Questions himself, who also just happens to be a PhD in New Testament textual criticism, professor at Carolina University, author, full-time pastor, and just happens to be the host of today's show. It's
Credentials
funny.
Just like Dr. Shah's.
It's funny how life works out. You know, I know we said we've never seen them in the same place at the same time, but I could swear I just saw Dr. Shah walking down the hall. And then it's crazy because then Dr. Questions came. So I don't know. It is what it is. Dr. Shah, or excuse me, Dr. Questions. Let me not ruin the illusion. $1 million. You're going to get $1 million, I think, in cash.
Okay.
You can get it credited to your account if you want. But I would say it makes more of an impact if it's in the briefcase.
Okay.
And you slide it across the table. Your phone, your laptop, your iPad, any device that you have that you have to charge will never go above 10%.
Okay.
It will rise to 10% and then stop.
I've had computers and laptops and phones like that for a long time.
But you got to make it last throughout the day. Now you can
like I can have like my little battery charger.
You can have it in there, but it just won't rise above 10%.
Yeah.
It won't if it's hooked up, it won't drop, but it'll just be 10% is the.
I'll take it.
You'll take it?
I'll take it.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it's just a little stressful, but I mean, $1 million?
Yeah. I mean, $1 million.
That'll help ease the stress some.
Yeah.
Would you take like a backpack with you and like have just the little battery charger with it?
Which I do anyways.
Yeah, but now you got to like wear it. You have to like, I mean, I guess you don't have to, but like, I'm thinking you're like at a board meeting or something. You've just got a backpack on with like cables coming out.
Well, see, now,
your phone.
Every time I travel, I have 3 chargers with me.
Okay.
So one is already in the phone. This is the phone charger, as you can see. You take it apart. right here.
And it's got it inside.
It's not just a case. This is a charger. And so once it gets past a certain point, it then sort of... See, the other day, my lovely wife took this off and then jammed it in.
Why would she do that?
No, she didn't know that it wasn't going. She's like, why is this not going? I was like, honey, I don't think it's lined up. Oh, I see it now. I feel like I can almost get it.
She's like hitting it. She's like, maybe if I just tap it, pulls out a hammer.
Wait, no.
Stop.
No. Yeah, and I was like, no, it's not lined up. Oh, I see it. It got bent a little. But anyways, there's a charger there.
Yeah.
Then I have the charger that kind of Apple makes. That you kind of slap it on there and kind of sticks there and it charges. Then I also have the older brick.
Right.
And I keep them all charged up, ready to go.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is that your phone will just never again, or your laptop or your iPad, it'll just never see 11% and beyond.
I'm okay with it.
You're good with it?
I'll take $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think Ryan said he would take it too.
I would take it, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane. I don't know that I could. Like, I
$1
would
million?
want to. I mean, I want to. Don't get me wrong. I want to, but I can't.
Now, if you said like 1,000 or 10,000, I'd be like,
that's
no.
I just don't know. I mean, I need my stuff. I need my stuff to be charged. Something about seeing that full green 100% just makes you happy on the inside, and I'll never have that again.
It is nice.
But then I got a full green in my bank account, so that might help.
That's true. That green will help offset the lack of the other green.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, speaking of full green, I'm loving this.
I am in.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what that means.
It means that it's time for lightning to strike.
The doctor is in.
The doctor is in. lightning strikes. The doctor is in.
Today is lightning round questions. That means all the questions that you guys have been sending us throughout the week, we're going to read on air, and Dr. Questions himself is going to answer them.
Appropriate that the $1 million question about charging fell on lightning round questions because you have the little lightning bolt when you're charging it.
Very clever.
So
very clever.
You'll just see that forever.
Jonathan T. What do you think the T stands for, my friend?
Oh, man. The T probably stands for Talladega.
Jonathan Talladega wants to know, are there any New Testament scholars that you disagree with but still read or follow?
Plenty.
Yeah?
Where do I begin?
So I guess that's a thing, like for someone who's not scholarly, you tend to think like with a pastor, let's just say with a pastor, like if I disagree with that guy, I'm probably not going to listen to him preach.
Right.
But it's not that way in the scholarly world.
No. I mean, there's so many out there like that I appreciate their scholarship in one particular area, but I wholeheartedly disagree with them in other areas. And I don't know if you want me to name names, but it happens in my field in textual criticism because some of the guys are excellent when it comes to collating data.
Right.
They're great. They're excellent when it comes to cataloging the history of the text or history of variants and things like that. When it comes down to their final analysis of, is the Bible the Word of God? And they look at you really confused, like, why are you even asking that? Because I don't believe the Bible is the Word of God. And so I'm like, I use your data, I use your scholarship, and you're so good. Like, if I need to know everything about the Latin Vulgate or the Aramaic Targums or trying to think, Syriac, Peshitta, you're great. I mean, you're the authority. But when it comes down to the Bible as the Word of God, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do I do with that? I have to go...
I can follow you up till that point,
yeah,
but no
and
further.
then I have not sure what to do with you.
You know, you said something, I don't know if it was the last lightning round or if it was just a previous episode, but you said that in scholarship, you can very much treat it like a buffet.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose what you need.
Right.
Whereas you don't do that in the church setting.
Right.
Yeah.
But in scholarship, you very much treat it like I can appreciate this, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to build conclusions off of things that I think are solid evidence in multiple places.
And that, I believe, in some ways, has been something that God has gifted me. It's not something that I take lightly or I'm proud of or whatever. I just know that God has gifted me the ability to go to some of these sources and find that information and then be able to sift it through what I know are important doctrines and know what remains and what needs to be trashed. And I'm able to do that, but not everybody is able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where we are very blessed to have you as the pastor, because you
Thank
can
you.
do that. You can sift through those things, whereas the average person will come up to that and be like, oh, well, I agree with him here, so I'm just going to buy into wholesale everything that this person says.
That's how I'm bent. And I know, Dr. Shah, you and I have been talking because I've got one of your textbooks right now for one of my classes. I won't say which textbook it is. It's a very big
I know
volume.
which textbook it is you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's some things in there that I've read and I know, like, this is not, I don't believe this. And I've called you and we talked about it. I think we FaceTimed once.
Yeah.
Like I was getting ready for a quiz and I was like, surely this is not what he means. And you're like, no, that's what he means. But I was like,
And then later on, you found out there are other things he said too. And that one question even showed up on the quiz. That was kind of like very confusing. Like, no, surely he doesn't believe that. And I said, no, that's the answer.
That's what he'll say it was. And I put it and it was right.
Yeah.
But I had to mark something that I didn't believe to get it right on a test. But where I was going with that is I'm the type of person, like, I'm writing this person off. I'm not ever reading that book. But you were like, no, there's great things in that book.
Yeah.
These things are not great.
Right.
He is my favorite when it comes to some other part of theology. He is the best. He's awesome.
And that's the thing that it's hard for me to wrap my mind around, where it's like, I wholeheartedly disagree with you here, but here you're untouched.
Yeah.
I'm trying to become more like that in my thinking.
Yeah. It has happened for me after years and years of reading and studying. It's not something that has happened overnight. I have spent a lot of time understanding the history of scholarship, whether it's New Testament scholarship, systematic theology, or even his history of evangelical world. I've read a lot of things, biographies or autobiographies of people where they discuss their interaction with people in the evangelical world. For example, Ted Engstrom. Ted Engstrom was, I think he was with Navigators, I believe. Somebody can check on that. And just amazing guy, great guy. But I read his autobiography because he has a lot on how everything works. And so how different people were and who were they and what they did and all that stuff. And so it really helped me tremendously to kind of navigate my way through the evangelical world. So both in scholarship and in that world.
Yeah.
Youth for Christ.
Right.
And World Vision International. Yeah.
That's who he was with.
Yeah. And he wrote a book on his life. I forgot the name of the book, but anyways, it was a pretty good book.
That's awesome. Well, that kind of leads us right directly into our next question.
Yeah. Our next question is coming from Marcus D. John, what do you think the D stands for?
D'Artagnan.
Marcus D'Artagnan, Three Musketeers style.
Yeah.
Is it common for New Testament scholars to still write or speak on Old Testament issues? How necessary is a PhD to be considered credible in a field of study?
Great question, by the way. I would say they can do that as long as somehow it's connected to the New Testament.
So if this is completely fantastic. I don't think this would happen. But if ETS or someone at ETS contacted you and said, we want you to write a paper on Job, and present it at ETS, would you decline, or would you say that's...
I would say, hey, you do know that my PhD is in New Testament and specifically textual criticism. Are you asking me to maybe look at some quotations of Jesus or Paul or somebody?
So for you, that would be a huge red flag.
Yeah. Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm doing? Am I looking at the Septuagint of the of Job's text, maybe? Because I'm not just going to go pull up the Hebrew and start doing that. Although I can read it, I can study it.
Yeah.
I'm not as well versed.
If you were sitting in the crowd, or any New Testament scholar, if they were sitting in the crowd and a New Testament scholar that they knew got up and started speaking authoritatively on the Old Testament, do they sort of tune out, or do they does that raise question marks?
You mean in a scholarly setting?
Yeah, like at ATS or at a conference.
Right. An Old Testament scholar starts talking on
a New Testament scholar starts talking about, or vice versa.
Depends on what exactly he's saying. If he's talking about the use of the Old Testament and the New, he can definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that's connected. If he's talking about Septuagint quotations in the New Testament, of course, that's fine too.
Gotcha.
Canon issues, now we're struggling. But yes, to sort of compare with the canon issues of the New Testament canon. Okay, we can still do that. Some historical critical stuff, because a lot of Old Testament historical critical method has been sort of applied to New Testament studies.
Right.
We can go with that. But once you get beyond that, when you start talking about the theology of the writer of Deuteronomy, right? I believe it was Moses, but anyways, in Old Testament scholarship is usually called the writer of Deuteronomy. Or something like prophecies of Isaiah. As long as they are connected to the New Testament is fine, but if not, then you have to go. That's not my field.
Yeah. Right. And if someone did, would other scholars sort of write that off, or would it even happen in the first place?
Now, let me back up for a moment. It also depends on the caliber of the scholar. There are scholars out there who are New Testament scholars, and yet they have done a history of scholarship. And in that history, it was not just relegated just to the New Testament, it was also the Old Testament. But they have so established themselves. A case in point would be D.A. Carson. D.A. Carson has written books like The Gagging of God. Gagging of God is about it's about relativism and postmodernism. Now, he is a New Testament scholar. What's he doing writing about postmodern philosophy and all that, how it relates to New Testament or Old Testament studies? But since he has established himself in that way, you go, okay, if it's from D.A. Carson, he is a research scholar.
Right.
D.A. Carson has also written books on divine sovereignty. Well, divine sovereignty is not limited just to the New Testament, it's also in the Old Testament.
Right.
So how can you go there and talk about that? Well, because it's D.A. Carson.
So his name kind of carries that authority and that credibility.
Yeah, and the older guys did that more. Not all.
Right.
Like F.F. Bruce. F.F. Bruce was a very famous scholar, more on the New Testament side. But I mean, he did books on the Old Testament as well.
Yeah.
Or on the entire history of the Bible. It's like, how could he do that? And why are we quoting him?
Yeah.
Well, because that's F.F. Bruce.
So it's also a matter, I guess, of how long you've been on the scene and how people...
How respectable are you? What is your credibility in the scholarly world?
I guess I'm just wondering if there's any universe where someone does, and I don't know why they would do it, but let's say someone's like, hey, we want Dr. Abadan Shah to do a paper on the Old Testament canon or something. You're like, well, I got to go get another PhD real quick, and then I'll
I would be hesitant at this stage in my life to do that.
Got you.
Yeah. Like some New Testament scholars have written books on hermeneutics. And when they're talking about hermeneutics, it's not just New Testament section. They're talking about the Old and New. And yet they're talking about hermeneutics. Are they really qualified? I don't know. But they have established themselves. And the work is very well written. So people read it.
Yeah.
They study it. They're also textbooks.
Yeah.
Written by a New Testament guy. But it's also as Old Testament. But they have established themselves. Like so many others I can mention, but yeah, those two readily come to my mind.
Yeah,
very cool. Chad R. What do you think the R stands for, man?
Rhombus.
Chad Rhombus wants to say, wow, I don't know if I like the way this one's going. I'm astounded that anyone can think Jonah is the slickest person in the Bible. Chad.
Chad's been listening to the show.
Feels kind of targeted, Chad.
Didn't you say that, David? Who said that?
That was me.
That was all John.
I feel like I'm going to cut this question.
What do you in it now?
I'm astounded that anyone can think Jonah is the slickest person in the Bible. What do y'all think about Laban?
Laban, I would say.
Laban is slick, but I also, I don't, like, for me, if someone's slick, right, I don't think that's like Laban was a cheat.
Laban's not
he was
slick, he's slimy.
Yeah, that's kind of slimy. Slick is like you come on, you say the right things, which I guess he did. He got the guy to marry the wrong girl and then stay married to her for 7 years. So I guess that's slick, but
it can't be Jonah though. Jonah was not slick.
I'm fine. I'm willing to concede that. I don't think it's astounding, Dad. I don't think that's astounding. Read the next
Chad
one.
took that question personally.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from Mike T. John, what does the T stand for?
Oh, that's tortoiseshell.
Okay, Mike Tortoiseshell. I heard through the grapevine you're a turkey hunter. Do people hunt in India? And does it have the type of climate to hunt wild animals?
They did a lot of hunting back in the day of to the point that they completely eradicated the tiger population.
I was going to say, I thought that was...
Yeah, they do hunt in India. They hunt gazelles, deer. It's a different looking deer, but still deer.
Yeah.
And there were people in our church who hunted, and they would bring us deer meat.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, not like tons of people, but a couple of people did.
But it did happen.
Oh, yeah.
See, here in the South, it's like everywhere. It feels like everybody
It's a very
hunts.
different world.
Yeah.
In America, it's very different, where people own guns and all that. In India, that very few.
Would they hunt with like bow and arrow and stuff?
No, with the gun.
Oh, with gun.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
But
There's
it
just
was
fewer that actually own
very
guns.
few who actually went through the training and all that stuff to even own a gun like that.
So did you hunt back in India, or was it until you came here when you started?
Oh no, never hunted in my life. I mean, other than crabs,
Right.
by the river,
Right.
As I mentioned one time, but no, not hunting.
Yeah.
Now my dad did back in the day. This is going back to pre-independence time, independence of India. This is 1947, where the British were in India, and so a lot of tiger hunting would happen. My grandfather on my dad's side would hunt tigers. And there's a story. I want to hear the story.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the story goes like this. A British officer came to my grandfather, my dad's dad, and said, look, I've never been tiger hunting. I would like to go because I know you go hunting, and I'd love to go with you. And so my grandfather took this Indian officer, this British officer with him. And this was, my grandfather was a police commissioner, so kind of like law enforcement people. And they went hunting. And now the thing about tiger is when it walks through the jungle, because it's a jungle,
Right.
It's not the woods.
Right.
The woods are in America.
Yeah.
Jungles are different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They roar, and the roar is so loud, so deafening, so terrifying that sometimes monkeys will even fall from the tree.
Yeah. You told me that before. Yeah.
They get paralyzed. Yeah. They get paralyzed.
Just fall with a sickening crunch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. With fear.
Yeah.
And the roar is a very different kind of roar.
I can imagine.
So anyways, that happened. And so he took him. And they were both on different trees. So my grandfather was on one tree, and the British officer was another one. And then, nothing happened. So they moved to another place, and the British officer was higher up on the tree on another branch. And my grandfather was on this side. And so the tiger came. Because, I mean, you have people out there who'll tell you,
Yeah.
it's coming this way and that's the way. So they know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And he roared. And when he roared, it wasn't raining, but you could hear water trickling down the leaves.
Oh, man. No, dude. No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I can't even blame him. I can't even blame him. I probably would have done the same
probably
thing.
would've
And my
Same thing.
grandfather was like, oh no.
It's like falling on his shoulder and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But it was on a different branch.
Yeah.
But it was very obvious that,
Oh, yeah.
that he wet his pants.
Yeah, he couldn't control it, man.
Because it's so scary.
I can imagine.
Terrifying.
When you have someone, see, like when you go deer hunting or turkey hunting, you're hunting animals that won't hunt you back.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
Like it's high stakes because
Yeah.
I want to nab this animal, but it's not high stakes because this animal might hunt me.
Your
Like,
quarry is
yeah.
much different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
but there are animals in the American wild who may come after you, like a
Yeah.
mountain lion or
Yeah.
a bobcat or something.
True.
You don't want those
you don't
things
wanna
to
run
come
into
out.
those, or a
Or
bear.
even coyotes.
Yeah.
The coyotes. A couple of them gang up on you, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Or bear.
Yeah.
But tiger is tiger.
Yeah. That's true.
And lions hunt in a pack. Tigers hunt by
Hunt by
themselves. And so lion hunting, you can kind of know, okay, they're coming here, here, here. Tigers, you have no clue until he just comes out of the woods.
That's
and
true.
He
And even then, at this part of North
Terrifying.
Carolina, the worst we have is black bears. And most of the time, if you like rah, 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 they'll
How is that
Yeah.
again?
rah, 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 rah. You just got to make yourself big. and they'll run away. Black bears are kind of cowards, so at least you have that. But a tiger, if you see
unless the black bear has
his cubs, yeah, true.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, then you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Big trouble.
Big trouble. God bless you.
But yeah, I hope you got right with
It's
Jesus.
been wonderful knowing you.
We got time for one more question. Nick
Okay.
R. Nick R.
Nick R.
Yeah.
The R is rutabaga.
Nick Rutabaga wants to know, this one's kind of mean-spirited too, if you could eliminate one worship song from existence, what would it be?
Yikes.
Wow, that's
Come on, man.
That's an interesting song.
From existence,
interesting
meaning it
question.
never existed?
Yeah, just never, or nobody ever sings it again.
Okay.
I would say, personally now, it's got to be Good Father.
I was going to say the same
You were going to say the same thing?
You don't
It's
like
a
Good
good
Father?
song. It's a good song.
It's a good song, and I really enjoyed it when it came out, but it's been so run into the ground.
Yeah.
It's been ruined.
Yeah, that's the one I would.
It's ruined for
I would
me.
do away with. I would.
You know why it resonated? Because maybe in America that there may be
Yeah,
a need for
need
some
for that.
good
That's a good
fathers.
point.
I guess.
Was there ever I know when you were growing up in church, y'all did the hymns and stuff
Yeah.
like the really really British
Yeah,
hymns.
yeah.
Was there ever one that you were just like, oh my goodness?
Yeah, there
please.
were several songs
Really?
like that, and not just British hymns, but also Indian songs. They were
Really?
just not good. It was just like, this is bad. This is not good. I don't enjoy this. It's over.
Yeah.
Then some were like, oh, we're doing this again. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you another one that I was kind of glad to see retire here at Clearview was King of My Heart. The verses are really, really great, and then the chorus is "You are good, good, oh. You are good, good, oh.
Oh,
you
yeah.
are good,
I do like that
good,
one, though.
oh." No, the verses are fine. Everything else beyond that, I was like, that we got to stop. I'm really glad we stopped that one because it got to the point where even the first time we were singing it, I was like, oh man, this just lets all the air out of my sails. You can't have a chorus say "You are good, good, oh." You are
Verses that are so hard hitting, and the chorus is kind of like, oh.
Yeah. I don't know if we have time for any more. Let's do one more.
One more
Let's do
question?
Jesse P.
Jesse P. Let's see. What does the P stand for, John?
Oh, penitentiary.
I hate that for you. Jesse Penitentiary. I hear you guys and other Christian internet influencers speak on creating a culture at your church. How do you create culture? I'm a new pastor who is trying to live out the culture and I want to see, but don't live out the culture I want to see, but don't see people following my lead.
Wow. For one, I would say longevity, whatever you're trying to create, if it's a culture that is very service-minded or evangelistic, you have to be in there for the long haul because people
point.
need to see that day in, day out, year in, year out,
Yeah.
and go, okay, this is what it means. And we have created a culture here at Clearview, a culture of freshness, a culture that is focused on Christ. Maybe I should have said that first.
Yeah.
A culture that is very innovative, culture that brings intergenerational mixing, where we have people of all generations, not just existing together, but mingling and working together.
Right.
But we are focused on the young generation because we have built this culture where all generations are there doing different things. And yet they all know, hey, if we don't capture the generation now,
Yeah.
then we're failing. That's a culture we have created. But it's taken years to do that.
That's what I say. And I actually appreciate that he talks about us being Christian internet influencers because that's not an answer you're going to hear most influencers tell you.
Yeah.
That it's going to take decades of your life.
Yeah.
They're going to give you the top 5 BuzzFeed tips to create a
So
culture.
you do
at your
this and you
church.
create a logo. I get it. I get that tagline, the logo, a little motto. You say it every time you get up there, but people will get tired of it.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll be like, here we go again.
Yeah.
I tried it.
Yeah.
At one time, I tried the word fish. I said, we're going to have fish in everything. And I could tell people were like, it's very fishy.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, though, the longevity, putting in the time, and
It
then
is.
people will, they'll buy into that.
That's right.
Dr. Questions, thank you so much for answering our questions today.
It was fun, man. It was fun. I hope to have you back on the show very soon.
That's right.
I'll be back.
If you guys didn't get the chance to have your questions answered, if you've been sitting on them, ask yourself why, and write in and send those questions to us at 252-582-5028. We'd love to answer them for you on the show. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Don't forget you can partner with us financially on that same website. Enjoy great content like this this for years to come by supplying us with your hard-earned money.
That's right.
It's silly, but if you join with us in partnering with us financially, you make this a reality for other people for years to come.
That's true.
And we would appreciate it.
That's true. The only way that we're able to do this show is because God has put people in our lives and in our organization who have said, you know what, I want to see this thing happen.
Right.
And there are a lot of them are listeners just like you. So we appreciate your donations. We appreciate your giving because that's how we're able to do this and keep bringing the word of Jesus out to the masses.
John, what encouragement do you have for our listeners this weekend?
Well, same as always, make sure that you are in church, make sure you're worshiping God. But more than that, take some of the answers to these questions and start applying them to your day-to-day life. So on Monday of next week, so after you've worshiped, after you've gone to church, after you've given to your church, start writing down some of these answers and saying, how can I live out even just one of these this week? And I think you're going to find that God is going to show you the way he wants you to go with that.
That's right. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We love you guys. We'll see you Monday on Clearview Today.